Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside of today's video, we're going to be looking at all the brand new gears within the game right now. One thing that's actually been overlooked a little bit, there's been 4 brand new mythic gears, and then also a big buff to Jean's mythic gear as well. So we're going into all of those, giving you guys my thoughts, whether you should be buying these and whether you should be selecting them. So before we jump into it, make sure you're using a crate code, because in December, creators do get a double boost on all of the gems you buy, and whether it's mine or someone else, make sure you're using one. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Alright guys, jumping into the first game then. So it's going to be talking about the brand new mythic gear with Crow. So Crow's brand new mythic gear at first seems a little bit underwhelming. I still feel like it's not the perfect gear for him, just because I feel like it's pretty hard to switch from the usual like shield, speed, damage kind of build with Crow overall. So you only get like a 30% damage boost with the poison. But I feel like, well, the main reason why I think it actually could be pretty underrated, I'll show you guys my calculations. So if you use the carrying Crow star power, which is actually really underrated, and if you use a brand new gear and the damage gear is activated, basically every single poison will deal 912 damage per tick, which is not per tick, 228 damage per tick, sorry, and that's 912 damage over time, which is a considerate amount of damage. You think well, Crow's normally a brawler that you don't normally like run into people and just completely destroy them straight away. He's more of like a tickle brawler. You kind of sit back and wait for the opponents to push you and just tickle them from a far distance. So if you can do that a couple of times to a brawler, you know, that's like 2k damage, which again is really underrated. So definitely try out this build if you haven't already. And if you guys are wondering what it's like without both the damage gear, without the carrying Crow star power activated, and without the brand new mythic gear, it's only 480 damage, well 120 times 4, so it's actually near enough double the poison damage with all of those things in play, and it's actually really strong. Like, I don't think it's like overpowered, but it's definitely one of those things that's getting overlooked a little bit. Everyone just straight away calling this gear basically unusable, but I think it has its uses. I think over time people might start to realize the value in this gear. Maybe a little bit more of a buff would be pretty nice. And also Rolo had a really good suggestion that another gear that could have happened with Crow is add an extra poison tick. That would have been pretty nice overall, but that is going to be the first mythic gear with Crow. Feel like it's a little bit underwhelming, but could be underrated. As I said, try out this build and let me know what you think. Let's hop into the next mythic gear. Alright guys, so jumping into the gear which you've probably been anticipating the most in terms of my opinion, because of course Jean, one of my best brawlers, and I've always been known as a good Jean. But anyways, Jean gears. So this one I actually didn't even know was happening before, literally after I did my balance change video. I didn't even include it in that video, but basically what they've done is they've increased the tiles on it by well, in their terms it was only 1 tile increase on this mythic gear, but now it's gone up in 3 tiles in their terms, but basically a whole tile in our terms, which is pretty decent. And I've played it a few times, haven't had the most time to test this out in our Power League or whatever, but I think this is absolutely insane. This gear is a 100% must-have, 100%. This is what I thought the mythic gear would have been beforehand. Like, it was extremely underwhelming, but now I feel like it's probably overpowered. Like, Jean already was one of the most used brawlers in the championship, well, within the world finals, right? I think the reason why they might have actually added this buff, because he doesn't really have the biggest play rates in terms of ladder, but overall I think he's a really strong brawler, especially with his mythic gears. So 100%, if you haven't already, buy this mythic gear, equip it on every single map. So it'll kind of be up to you whether you use this speed or vision gear, but definitely this mythic gear is absolutely insane. Just look at this, you can see straight away just how like big the pull radius range is, and I feel like it's the perfect kind of buff for him, because I feel like over time, like, Jean's pulls have just been harder and harder to hit, you know, since the introduction of gears, even more gadgets that are, you know, just so hard for Jean to like hit a pull against. I think an increase in range is exactly what he needed to make his pull a little bit more scary. Like, I feel like his pull wasn't scary at all, so that's quite a funny interaction. I don't get Buster sometimes. He can just tank literally everything. So yeah, I go for the auto aim pull right there. That was just pretty stupid, but for the most part it doesn't really matter when you're facing off against tanks. You're going to be able to get your super back pretty much instantly. So I think I'm going to die to this poison, or okay, no, be one shot from it. And I haven't really had the greatest chance to get a max range pull, but every single time I don't record, I hit a max range pull. So we'll try it right here with the max, and that is absolutely insane, the range. Like, you'll definitely get caught off guard if you're not you're not careful, right? So you need to be extremely careful now against Genes, because they can literally hit you from across the map. So again, I should be able to be in a good position to hit this pool onto the Primo right here, and that's going to be the goal. So this Gene gear is beautiful. I'll probably even do like a Gene guide. It's really reignited my love for Gene. It's absolutely fantastic. Let's hop into the next one. All right, guys, jumping into the next brand new mythic gear, which I thought at first might be, well, not strong, but decent. I actually think it's really strong. So it's the spike gear. So basically, it makes your spike super slow 50% more effective. So it's just basically going to slow opponents a lot easier, and it's really good against tanky brawlers. So one thing you got to bear in mind with a spike super is now, instead of kind of just throwing it to like block a choke point or whatever else, you probably want to hold on to your super a little bit more and get a bit more value out of the super, so you can cycle it even faster. And it's just so toxic when you're inside a spike super. Like, you'll feel it instantly. Like, if a spike has this mythic gear and you're against it and it throws the super, you'll feel the slow instantly. Like, of course, I'm probably going to struggle to get a good super right here, but especially against, like, again, those tankier brawlers where you can cycle the super over and over again, it's going to be impossible for them to get out of it. So I've got another super right here. Hopefully I can get within a good range. Of course, I'm playing a terrible spike right now, so let's try and get onto this BB. We should be able to get a super onto her. It's going to slow her quite a fair bit. Unfortunately, I only hit her on the tip of the range, but I think I should be in a good position to get one of these brawlers here. So it looks like Ruff's going to use his walls to the advantage. BB's going to try and score right here, but we were wise to it. So now when this BB respawns, I'm just going to go straight for her. This super is going to be so toxic for her to actually get out of. I'm just going to use it in the goal right there. And look how slow she is. She's so slow. It's going to be impossible for her to get out of it. This spike mythic gear is really strong. The only thing, again, maybe in competitive, you'll probably get a little bit less usage out of it because it's pretty hard to cycle your spike super. But in ladder, go ham with this mythic gear. It's definitely really strong. Let's jump into the next one. Okay, so now jumping into the next brand new mythic gear. So it's the Leon one. It's pretty easy to understand. So literally with his invisibility, it'll increase by 1 second. So I believe right now it's 6 seconds, and it'll go up to 7 seconds. Doesn't seem like a lot, but for a brawler like Leon, which he does rely on his invisibility quite a lot right now, I think it's a decent buff. So again, this buff will only, of course, matter to his super. So that's one thing you got to bear in mind. Like, some mythic gears, you can actually get use out of it all the time, but it feels like most of these brand new mythic gears are pretty much limited to their supers. So you got, for example, Sandy super, that is literally limited to his super. You got the spike one, you got the Gene one. I'm trying to think of any other ones as well. The tick one, I think most of them are pretty much super, if not all of them. Let me know if I'm correct in the comment section below. I'm trying to think off the top of my head as well. But actually, Crow is the main attack, so I think maybe they're just trying to limit it to super, because I feel like maybe as a mythic gear might be a little bit too strong if you can use it all of the time, except for those brand new like Riddle gears and I forgot the other one off the top of my head. Supercharged gear. Again, like Riddle gear, you can literally get value out of it all the time. That's why I probably recommend using that all the time. But anyways, talking about Leon then. So the thing is with Leon, like, of course, it's going to be pretty good to have invisibility for an extra second. But the only thing is that he just gets countered a little bit too hard in this meta. Still, the vision gear counters his invisibility. So I feel like until they kind of change that, I don't know what they're going to do with that. I feel like it definitely needs to be change, because Leon right now in the meta, like, he's not even a terrible brawler. It's just the fact that literally someone could equip one gear, and it doesn't even have to be like a certain brawler. It could be any brawler with a vision gear. It'll just counter him too hard. So yeah, kind of waiting for that one. And then I feel like this mythic gear could be really strong. So I accidentally went into that portal right there, and I just got deleted. That's one thing I don't recommend doing. And again, you might actually get a bit more value out of smoke trails, by the way. So one thing I'm actually really interested to try out is trying out Leon on Shooting Star. I know it sounds crazy, but Leon actually used to be pretty meta on that map. But of course, using smoke trails. So this is going to allow you to get to your opponents a little bit easier. Of course, it's a big map, so again, it's going to allow you to get close and personal to your opponents a lot easier. So kind of choked that one right there. Should have really killed the Chester, but only 30 seconds left. We should be able to hold off this one and get the dub. So again, if you're thinking about picking up a mythic gear, I'll tell you the ones which I recommend the most at the end of the video, but I feel like this one's definitely a good one. It's just the fact that Leon isn't the strongest in the meta. So that's going to be another brand new mythic gear. Definitely really good. Let's hop into the last one. Alright guys, jumping into the final mythic gear then. So you guys have probably guessed it. The worst mythic gear, by far is going to be the Sandy one. So with the Sandy one, you basically get no value with it. Of course, like a mythic gear will always provide a little bit of value, but this one, I just feel like there's all the other gears are better, right? You've got the damage gear, you've got the speed gear. I think that's just by far the better combination. So if you guys don't know what the mythic gear is, so whenever Sandy uses his sandstorm and opponents inside of it, they deal 10% less damage, which of course is basically nothing, and this isn't really that great considering that Sandy isn't really like a brawler which you get super a lot with. Like it takes 7 hits to get your super with Sandy, which is far too much. But not only that, whenever you throw out your sandstorm, a lot of times people just run outside of a sandstorm, so you're not really going to get too much value out of it. And you also, if you guys don't know, there's actually a glitch right now with the healing, I think it's the healing sandstop, I forgot what it's even called, but basically it deals like 1 damage, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it actually is really strong, because just the ability to stop someone's healing is incredibly strong, especially for a super like Sandy. Like literally people only use Rude Sands because it stops people's healing, not because it deals 100 damage. So looks like we're going to have a good getaway right here. Should be able to get the final goal, and that's going to be it for today's video. So again, if you guys are wondering, the Sandy mythic gear just isn't worth it whatsoever. Definitely rather have something else. Maybe if they buffed it a little bit more, it'll be a little bit better. So in terms of mythic gears then, so you've got the spike one, definitely pick that one up. That's going to be pretty strong. You've got the crow one, which I think could be a little bit underrated. I think of the non-grassy maps, I'll definitely opt for like a damage and a mythic gear combination. On the grassy maps, still stick in my opinion with damage and speed. Probably I'll have to test it out a little bit more. Leon 100% use mythic gear all the time. You're going to get insane value with that. Sandy, I don't know, I don't think I'd really bother with the new mythic gear with him. That's pretty much it. And of course Gene is incredibly broken with that mythic gear. So that's going to be it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed that one. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.